And today, well, we have, we've got like this queen or crown. The first one I made, I've made a few of these in the past, and they're really easy to make. But this one is my little gold crown. When I'm feeling really regal, I can wear the gold one. Now, I keep one side of it, so one side of it unconnected, so that I can, pack it if I'm going to go somewhere and I want to bring my crown where I want to bring it. Don't want to crush it. You can actually fold it flat, or if you want to send it to someone, you
Mm.
can just take that crown and fold it at one of the seams, and then just tell them to attach it by inserting one into the other, and
Mm.
you've got a crown that's portable and you can take it with you, and it's resizable. So let's say like I have 10 pieces of paper on this one because I have a big head. But if I wanted to use it, of course I glued these already, but I think I did. Yeah, I did. If you want to make it more modular and you want to be able to size it, you can just take one of the links off. This would also make a really neat bracelet basically out of smaller pieces of paper. So I'm going to show you this. So you can just connect it. You can make bracelets and all kinds of fun stuff. So I'll just help you get started on the folding sequence. And I thought it would be fun to just do a black and white one as well. So
Mm.
I kind of got that started. I wanted to see how that geometric thing would work, and I really like it. So get yourself about 9 sheets or 10 if you have a big head. For a child, it would be 7 or 8, probably even just 8 links for a child. So Leah or anyone who's making anything for their grandkids, for a birthday party, anything, 7 or 8. 7 would be for a really small child. 8 would be for a medium-sized child. 9 for an adult, or like a sort of an average size head, and 10 for a big head. These are 6-inch squares. If you want to do 4-inch squares, that would be really cute too. But those would be just more pieces. So I'm going to start. All of these are going to be folded exactly the same way. So I'm just going to scooch my table in. Um, they're all folded the same way, and it's really easy. What I like to do is I have a little glue. It's nice to have because the little parts slide out easily, and I like to use a little some kind of tool, creasing tool, so that you're able to um, crease, be able to get into the little pockets because you're going to need those. So let's get everybody. Got it right there. Okay. So we're going to start, and these are all this. Like I said, we're going to have plenty of practice because we're going to fold all of them. So we're going to fold. You put your paper with the color side down, and you want to fold it in a triangle, half. Just fold it in half in a triangle, and open it up. Turn the paper and fold it in half again in the triangle, point to point. And when you open it up, you'll see there's a center intersection or center point right here. We want to take all 4 of these points and just fold them right to the center. However you do it. Sometimes I like to do it, I just go across, or I might go in a sequence. But either way, you just want to get your points to go just kind of meet nicely in the center without a gap on either side. Just like that. Now you turn it over so that the solid side is up, and then we're going to fold all 4 points to the center again. So this time you got to find that little center where the creases intersect. That's where you want to take your points, and you want to meet them. Now sometimes it's hard to see because depending on your lighting, you may not see it as well. And this geometric paper is really, it's almost like it's making me dizzy. But I just want to make those points line up and then to the center. When you're using foil paper, your foil keeps that memory. It keeps it you don't need the glue so much as you do with the regular paper, and that's why I have the glue, is because I'm using regular paper. But for the foil papers, they tend to just keep their shapes. So you really don't need glue with the foil. So now we've got this piece here. So we've got that folded. Now we're going to turn it over one more time. So what you'll have is little pockets. They look like little it will look like this. You have these little raw edges that are kind of sticking out in little squares. Now, one more time, we're going to fold it to the center again, right? Here, all those 4 points go into the center. So you've got this little block of layers of triangles. We've all 4 points to the center, and now we are finished with our preliminary folding. So turn it over, and you'll have your little, you're going to see these little squares, kind of like with the pockets. And what you're going to do is you're going to open up all of these except, well, you're going to open up 2 sides or 3 sides. I'll show you there's 2 options in how we do this. This is the way I like doing it. I like having the points on both sides of the crown, the top and the bottom, but I'll show you the way that it was originally designed to look, and I'll show you actually in the book that I have, where is it? In that, this book, by the way, it's called Origami for Children. Of course, children of all ages, right? It's a really cute book. I bought this many years ago, and I found that I just liked the simplicity of the diagrams. Of course, the crown diagram was a little weird, if I can find it. It was a little hard for me to follow, and that happens sometimes in books, like, even though my book, some of the things were hard to follow. When you're creating a book, sometimes you skip some steps. Now I can't find it. I know it's there, though. There it is. Okay, so this is what the original crown looks like on the little girl. You can see this part is flat, and so it has like a, different look. I make it so that it has a point, so it just looks better, I think. But this is the original way, and I'm going to show you that first, because we can always make the points later on. We don't need to do we can always fix it. So what you want to do is you're going to open up, and you need to take to get your fingers inside. You're going to take you're just going to fold this side point to flatten into a rectangle. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to open it with my little tool, and I'm folding it outwards to get that. Just need to pull that out and then flatten it into a rectangle. So now, this is how I like to do it right here. This is how I like to do it. And then I would just connect the ends. But the way they do it in the book is you will have 3. So it looks like looks like a little outfit, actually. So if you want to do it like the way it is in the book with the flat side on the bottom, this is how you want it. You want all of these three square things, or whatever they are, to be flattened and opened like that. But if you want to do it like the way I like to do it, you can just put that back. You can change your mind. I mean, it's just no big deal. So what we're going to fold this again, because we want to make several. So I'm going to fold it again. And I'll show you what I usually do after I fold a couple of them when we're to assemble. So we're going to take our paper. So we're starting another unit, and we're just folding it in a triangle. Oops, I have 2 pieces. No, that was an optical illusion. I'm going to fold it in a triangle, point to point. And I'm opening it up and folding it into another point-to-point triangle. And now I have my little intersection that I need to fold those 4 corners to, 4 corner ends right to that center. We've got someone coming in. Oh, Deanna's coming in. All right. Welcome, Deanna. We're just started.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm going to be folding this several times. So we will go ahead and mute yourself. You'll catch up. Just have 8 or 9 or 10 pieces of paper.
Okay.
You will catch up. You'll be able to see what I'm doing.
Okay.
So basically, we're folding these points, all 4 points in.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm muting everybody now so that so your beautiful faces don't show up on the video when we upload it. So you will turn it over. So every time we fold points to the center, we always turn it over afterwards to get that flat side facing up. Or it just always happens right after we fold those points to the center. So now I'm going to find that center point again, and I'm going to fold these 4 points to the center. And I'm changing colors because I think it's fun. You can have them all the same colors. You can have them foil. If you want to even paint them, you could spray paint them with metallics. I mean, there's so many things that can be done with these. I'm going to turn this over again and fold it one more time to the center. And all 4 points will go to that center. And if it's thicker paper, your paper is going to feel like it's a little harder to fold because you're folding several layers. But actually, the stronger the more sturdy your crown will be. So now I've turned it over, and what I have now is I'm going to take 3 of these points, and this one I'm able to just push it and fold it into a rectangle shape. I'm going to do that on 3 sides. And one more side. Depending on what you have, sometimes the paper will fight with you, so go ahead and use this little tool or some kind of tool. So I'm setting that aside. So now I have 2 pieces. Now, Deanna, now that you're here, we're starting over another one. So get a piece of paper out, put your color side down. You'll be folding 9 of these, possibly 10. You take your paper, 6-inch square, and you're going to fold it with the color side down, fold it in point to point in a triangle. We're going to open it up and fold it diagonally. It's a diagonal fold. Fold that again, like that. Now open it up and you'll see a little intersection right in the center. That's where we want to fold all 4 points right to that center intersection. The center crease intersection. And we'll get all of those in there. Okay, now that we fold it to the center, we always flip it over. We flip it over and we just fold it again to the center. Sometimes I'm having a hard time finding that center, but try to find that center because at least on the first fold, because once you find it, then it's easier to fold everything to the center after that without it being kind of off kilter. You may need to adjust it. Sometimes mine will get way off because I might have done the first fold, I might have gone over the center a little. You'll just need to adjust it. But see, everything looks pretty good there. Now I'm turning it over one more time. We're going to fold all 4 points to the center. So I guess it's 3 times we do this. And we just do. This paper is really thin, so it's really easy to get those folds, but I've had thicker paper. Even that foil paper was kind of hard for me. So now I'm turning it over again, and we have we just want to open up these little places. Basically, these little points just need to open up, and they flatten into a rectangle. And you want to do that on 3 of the sides, and leave one side. And it looks like a cute little coat. And just set aside. So we've got 3 of them. We've got 3 of them so far. And just keep pulling your papers. And I'm going to run this. We'll just keep running through this, folding your color side down, fold your next paper. We're folding a diagonal fold. Up and turn it. Another diagonal fold. And this and it's actually so easy, and after you folded it 9 times, you'll probably remember how to do it. You might want to fold an extra one after you've done with this, just to have it handy to take apart so you can remember. I don't find a lot of diagrams on how to do this anywhere. I couldn't find any on YouTube. Of course, we'll have our video, and maybe I'll put something, we'll put that on, or maybe a shorter video on my YouTube channel so that it's just like a quick reference video. But so far, I just haven't seen anything really readily seen on, there's no really printed diagrams on this. Okay, so now we've got these four corners have gone to that center. I'm turning it over so that the solid side is up, and now I'm going to fold the four corners to the center again. Okay. This is so relaxing. It's nice to have something like this to do, you know, when you're just, there's not a lot of thinking. It's not really hard to fold. It's, you know, very sequential and you just feel like you could get into the zone of folding these. Now fold these four corners again to the center. So this basically your final compact unit looks like it's about 2¼ inches in a square or 2½ inches square. And if you had a 4-inch paper, it would be smaller. It'd be like about a 1½ inch square. So I'm turning it over, and now I've got these little cute square things, and I'm just going to open them up on all three sides. Sometimes they need a little help. And there we go, it needs help. Just have to open that little part up, and you're not making any new creases really, you're just reversing. Well, actually, you are making new creases that are happening along the side here. So I'm setting that aside. I've got 4 done. I've got more to go. And let's go if everybody's okay, just like if you're okay with the sequence, we can just, I can still go through each one. Just kind of give me a thumbs up if you're okay with everything or if you need any more instruction. Okay, great. All right, thumbs up. How's Deanna doing? Thumbs up if you're doing okay. I think you're muted, so and since I can barely hear anybody anyway, it's kind of maybe just thank you for the thumbs up. All right, great. So we'll just keep going. So we're working on number 5 now. We're folding if you're faster, then you'll be working on number 6 or number 7. But trying to go kind of at a slow pace so so people can stay caught up. And then we just fold these 4 corners to the center. And turn it over. Fold to the center again. Now, if you don't turn them over, they won't do what they do. If you forget to turn them over for some reason on one of the folds or one of the times you fold to the center, it won't open up like these. So you'll know something's wrong if you get to that point and you go, well, wait, why isn't this happening? Because that's what I've learned that the hard way, or the other way. It happens, you just might forget. And this one needs to be a little closer. Just sometimes that happens. And you just have to back up and refold it so that everything is just the way it's supposed to be when you open them up, open the sides up. Right now, I'm not even thinking of where I'm at. I'm just kind of automatically doing it. But I probably should go back to thinking about it. Okay, so I'm opening it up. This little guy, turning it over again, and now I'm just going to take my tips, and some of them want to stay snug, and I'll just open that up to a little rectangle shape, and then I'm going to leave just one of them pointy. Really doesn't matter which one you leave pointy. Okay, so we've got 5 done. And I'm just going to do it again. Bring your paper. There's really no other way of mass doing this. Like, you can't really fold a bunch at once. I don't think it would really take it would not save time. But I know everything is so fast-paced nowadays. We want to fast forward everything, and I'm tending to want to do that with this, but I like to just enjoy the folding and be in the moment and know that at the end of this, I'll have something really fun, and we can personalize them by putting You could put little flat back jewels on your crowns. I've done that before. They're really beautiful. I actually did a event, turn over a paper and fold it to the center. I did an event in San Francisco. It was called Fold Fest, and it was done by, actually it was sponsored by an art supply store, Flax. I think it was the Flax art supply store, or it was Kid Fest, one of those two. I think it was Kid Fest. And we had crowns. Everybody did these folds, and then they decorated them with all these beautiful flat back jewels and colored on them, and we had such a good time. Even the adults had fun. So now I've got this folded to the center. We turn it over and fold it again one more time. Okay, now this little final part is to open these little points out on 3 sides, or if you want to do just 2 sides, one with the point being on both sides like that, you can do that as well, which I'll probably convert mine to that, but to start with, I'll do it the traditional way. So now we've got 6 done. Let's go move on to number 7. I'll use a different piece of paper. I think once we get to 8, I'm going to start showing you how to connect it, because you can decide if you want to add a link or not. So this will be number 7. So I've got my color side down, and we have plenty of time, so we're good. And we're going to fold point to point. And your first 4 corners go to the center. And then turn it over, always turn it over. And start your folding to the center once again, finding that center intersection. And if you find your corners are kind of too close together, right now I noticed that this corner is just not letting it happen. So what that means is I probably started, I could see where I made the mistake, and it was on the first fold. I actually kind of overshot that center mark, and then that made it really, and it was just a small amount, but boy, it makes a difference. So I just adjusted it, and now everything's folded, is right to the center again. Turn it over and fold your 4 points again to the center. And this should be easier because now you have an actual piece of paper that's guiding you tells you, that this layer here, this layer of paper makes it easy for me to find that center. All right, so we have number 7. We have one more. Okay, I'm going to push these little corners out or tips out till I have just my one showing. Here we go. That's all right. One more. I want one with a little darker color. There we go. This is the last one for now. We can always add more. All right, so we're going to do this last but not least. We're folding our triangle or diagonal fold, second diagonal fold. Points to the center. I think it also depends on how you'd like a crown to fit. Do you want to sit it on your head like Miss America, kind of just sits up there, or you want it kind of going around your forehead, kind of like the Cowardly Lion? It just depends on how you want your crown to sit on your head. Also, that's going to determine how many links you put on there. So today I'm going to try it with just 8 or 7. No, 8. I meant to say. So I've got, we'll have our 8th one. So go ahead and fold that, get that point to the center, and then All right. And turn it over, holding all 4 points again to the center. And since I am going kind of slow, you could make this faster, once you get the hang of it. Like I'm kind of speeding up my folding here. And my last point is really off. Now, I need to fix that. So what I need to do is find out how I started it wrong. So I kind of see, you can always adjust. Here's just, then I went off here. And I can even see, it's so obvious where I went kind of haywire. But it's very subtle. It can happen so easily. So don't be surprised if yours kind of go off a little, because mine do all the time. It's not that the paper's not square, it's just like that's way off. And I've got something went awry. And I don't know what, but I'm just going to leave that and not worry about it. I'm not trying to make perfection here. So go ahead and we open up all 4 sides. This one doesn't want to open at all. There we go. Or all 3 sides. What am I saying? I said 4, didn't I? 3. There we are. Okay, so now we are ready to assemble. But the first thing I like to do, if you have glue handy, and then figure out how if you have like different colors, which sequence do you want them in? That's another thing. It's like, how do I want these? What I like to do on mine is, these are the way we're going to assemble them. This is how easy it is. You just take one section and you tuck into the other. It doesn't matter which side, left to right or right to left. You slide it. You see how it's just sliding in really nice, and it gets a nice snug. It's really snug. You can see it just slides right in. I prefer to put a little glue, just a touch, just because I don't want them sliding around. I might just put a little, not much in there, just a little sliver of glue, and then I'm going to slide it while it's wet, and then just kind of put it down there like that. Another thing I like to do is if you have paper that's not foil, it just wants to come out everywhere, it just wants to stick out. So what I like to do is I put a little glue, just a touch, right in the parts where these papers want to go up. Just twice. I just touch it twice, right in these just lift up these little flaps, tiny little dot of glue. It doesn't take much. You can use a glue stick as well. And doing that keeps that nice and flat, and then having that glue on the front, if you want to also, you can even glue this little part down, just a little bit. Same with this one, I'll put just a tiny tap. And that just kind of keeps everything kind of lined up. You can see much better when you're able to do that. It takes a little more time, but then you have a much sturdier crown in the end that can be worn over and over, and you can hang it on, as a decoration. They're just fun. I think it'd be fun to do it in if it's for a holiday, whatever holiday, you can just use the colors that, pick them for that holiday, or if it's a school activity or a game or something, you can put them in the team's colors. So this is how we assemble, and then you just keep moving, keep taking your pieces, sliding in. Now maybe one side will slide in easier than the other, so just decide which one. Like, let's see, do I want to put this side or do I want to use that side? And it doesn't matter, just whatever one slides in the easiest is the one you should do. There we go, so that slid very nice. And I'm just going to just put a touch of glue right on the end, push it back, hold. And we can do this to all of just take all your pieces and link them together. And then if you want to glue or not glue, that will be your choice, but at least you can see how you can just kind of, after putting on several, you can put it on your head and see if it's the right size for you, or if it's how you want it to look. Slide that in. You can do all the gluing details later. But definitely when you're sliding it, that just seems to hold together. The foils, like this foil, I didn't, the original one here, it needed some, every time I'd put it on, it would come apart. You know, one of the links would just fall apart. So that's why I glued them together, except for the one so that I can fold it. Okay, so we're gonna slide it again. Just keep connecting your parts. Make sure, of course, that they are all facing the same direction. So you don't want one side to be, you want them all the same. You want all the fronts the same. And if you have some that are just way too wide, like if it just doesn't want to slide and it's really stubborn, that can happen. But I just try to switch it up. Like this side seems to be a little more narrow than that one, and it's probably just the way I folded it. So I'm just going to move that to make that go on the inside. So you can always play with it and see which side slides the best. So now we've got 5 pieces joined so far. Let's go ahead and see which side we're going to do here. I can see if I match up these here, I can kind of see which one's going to be more narrow and which one will slide better. And if you really have everything exactly the same and they just don't want to slide, you can always narrow one of them by just slightly folding it a little bit, sticking a little bit of glue there. Of course, I shouldn't have done that before I knew that it was, there we go, it slid fine. But sometimes they sort of stop before they lock completely together, and that would have been a problem since I had put the glue down. But so far, so good. Now I'm going to do a little, I think this one, checkers. That one's way wider for some reason. My checkered piece is much bigger. There we go. Just slide it and give it a little bit of glue. I love this glue. So by the way, it is Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear Adhesive. Now this stuff is actually made right here where I live in Cottonwood. Like the little store is right in on our main street. And her glitter is amazing if you're a glitter person. But the glue is really great. Great for all kinds of things. Especially they have these really nice fine tips, and they even have these other little metal tips that make for really tiny little hairlines of glue. So that's a nice thing to have. I'm just going to assemble this one right here. It will go in. Yes, that one is not going to be as. So here's when that happens. If that happens, which it is. See, these are almost identical in size. So what I do is I take it just a tiny bit and I make it narrow by just slightly taking this little edge here, and I just narrowed it by folding the edge just a hair so that it's like a little more narrow, and that's how I get that to work. If that happens to you, that's what you can do. And then just slide it in, and now I see it doesn't want to lock nicely because they are too evenly the same, and I don't think there's a way I can avoid that unless I narrow the whole thing and just try it that way. So I'm just creating that narrowed edge all the way, and if I can slide it all the way, there I go. Yep, I was able to do it. So we're running into, when you do all these 8 or 9 pieces, we will run into all those little problems that we can always solve. Just a little tricks. Okay, so this one has 8 pieces, and I'm just going to take it. I'm going to look at it. Okay, I think it's a little small for me. Now, if I was giving this to my granddaughter, it'd be perfect, because it's not enough really not enough. So with 8 pieces, that's just not enough. So I'm going to fold one more. I'm going to give it a quick fold. So we'll just, if you need 9, go ahead and make your 9th one. And really it adds another 2.5 or 2 inches about each. For each one of those, it's approximately 2 inches of, or maybe more. So I think it's more like, just kind of looking at about 2.5 inches maybe that you're adding whenever you fold a link or a section. I'm going to turn it over, finding that center. I love this black and white paper. It's from Ito. It's they have a single-sided version and a double-sided version. And this is the single-sided, and I just think it's really neat stuff. Fold it, turn it over, and fold those 4 corners to the center. I think it comes in maybe 10 different patterns at least. So it's really nice for this. I'm turning it over. The last part is to take these little corners and pull them out. All 3 sides. Now I'm going to join it and see if it's going to be long enough. I'm going to put a little glue in that. Oops, didn't need to do that. And just join that link. All right. Okay, so now here's where we are. Now I can tell you right now, this will be a little bit better. I can even put another one, but I'm just going to keep it at this for now. But if you feel like you need to make another link, that's great. Now, so this is how they normally do it, and it gets, you can glue these little pieces down. But I think I'm going to just take these points and I'm going to glue them right back. I really like the pointed tip a little bit better. So I'm just going to take these little parts and I'm just gluing those down so that they stay where they're supposed to stay. And then I'm just going to put this one back to where it was and put a little tiny glue on the edge. So I just think that looks, I like it better. Just it's your preference how you want to make yours. It was good to see it, but I like it this way. And maybe with the gold or heavier paper, it would look better the other way. But for your delicate papers, I think it's nice to have that strength of the folding, kind of helps it stay stronger. But if you were to glue in here and keep it flat, that would be strong too, because the glue would kind of it would strengthen it as well. So however you want to do that is fine. All right, so let's see. Oops, that one's popped up. There we go. We want them all to lay flat. Same thing here. I can just go up here. This is all stuff we can do later, but okay. So now I think that's going to look really pretty. And well, I think I'm going to keep it at this level. So here, instead of I'm not going to glue this because I do want to be able to try it on. And what you can do to keep it kind of sort of rounded out is just kind of shape it a little bit by taking on the folds where you join them, you can just kind of shape it a little bit so that it's kind of looks more rounded. You're not creating any new creases, you're just going around kind of making them kind of go outward, make those folds kind of go outward. So now that's a lot better shape.